Brothers and sisters who have gathered here, I thank you all for the sweet presence you have given me this evening. This evening, we are expected to speak about three subjects. That is spiritual healing, astrology, and homeopathy. Each of these three subjects is an ocean in itself. And when we begin to speak something about each subject, we have important and useful matter for weeks and months to speak. But I am expected to do what is ordained to me carefully, so that I may do equal justice to the given three subjects and making it really useful to you who are really interested. First, we will take up the aspect of healing. We are in an age when we are transcending matter and entering into spirit. This century especially marks a clear-cut change in the consciousness of the human being. A change that makes the material aspect of the world secondary and the spiritual aspect primary. But it is really an achievement that is being done. In between, there is a stairway to climb up. Unless we carefully climb up the staircase, we cannot reach the plane of spirit where we find pure consciousness, the consciousness which is ourselves. The staircase is the plane of forces. In between matter and spirit there is force. And unless we tackle the forces, we cannot make an achievement. But when we once begin to tackle the plane of forces, we have to know how to steer these forces properly and how to harness them in a proper way so that they are useful to us and we are not lost in the direction of forces. There is every danger of being led away by the forces that are awakened by us within ourselves and around ourselves. Around ourselves we have awakened electricity, magnetism, electronics and the atomic. Within ourselves we have begun to make strides in yoga and rousing the planes of consciousness to work for healing and to work for the many branches of the modern scientific researches. So, man stands between the external and internal forces, like a ship which is floating upon the various waves of the ocean, at the same time having many drums of liquid in the ship. There may be drums of kerosene, drums of petroleum and also kerosene, and there may be drums of alcohol, and there are also drums of water and milk. Each drum is making a movement because it is floating in the ship, and the contents in each drum are making their own movements. So we can compare the cumulative psychology of the 20th century human being with this. We can compare each human body with a ship, and the internal forces like the many drums which the ship is carrying. So, the mastery is required. We should work as a master of these forces. Otherwise, the internal forces will swallow us and the external forces make us drowned. This is the actual situation of the modern human being. But fortunately, we have the real sciences at our aid. And one of the real sciences is the science of cure and the science of healing. Healing is applied only to diseases, but its application is much wider than what we suppose.
But it's
Application. If there are undesirable psychological traits in us, it is also healing if we make our psychological forces desirable. If there are gushes of emotion working in us, it is also healing to tranquilize the emotions and make them subservient to the various consciousnesses working in us. So, healing works on the social levels, on the economic levels, and on the levels of health and hygiene also. We should not restrict the values of healing to medical sense. If you make a man think in right direction, if you train a boy into the desirable ways of living, if you train a squadron of army in the proper direction, and if you can train the inhabitants of a country to behave properly, all this comes under healing. And if anyone makes us understand the values of life better, then it is the beginning of our proper behavior with our neighbors and friends. And it can also be called a beginning of healing. Just as a magnet has its own field of action, every one of you has your own field of action. Just as the magnet radiates invisibly its own lines of force, you are continuously radiating your presence into your environment. And you know how the right arrangement of magnets makes the magnets behave uniformly. If you place two magnets in the right direction, they are attracted to each other and they begin to work as only a single magnet. This is true with as many magnets you do as possible. The same thing is possible with the human beings also. If two people try to understand the magnetism working in them properly, and instead of giving value to their ideas and thoughts, if they give the value, true value to the direction of forces working in them, then the two people can stand in such a position with each other that the two people can be companions lifelong, and the two people work like a single mind, a single heart, and a single center of. It is true with any number of people working in the right direction. This is the ideal to be achieved when we consider the aspect of healing. In fact, what we call diseases are only imperfections in us, and there is nothing evil or negative in what we call diseases. If two magnets are arranged in the wrong way, if the one shows repulsion towards the other, can you say that there is evil in the magnets? Definitely not. It is the same magnetism which is playing evil when wrongly placed. It is the same magnetism that works rightly and positively when placed in a correct manner. What we call evil in the human beings is nothing but establishing wrong relationship with others. What we call disease, what we call fear, jealousy, sorrow, avarice, covetousness, all these things are only wrong relationships established with others. When some jealousy is present in ourselves, we need not think that there is something evil in us. It is enough if we know that we are approaching the society in a wrong direction, and it is for us to make a rectification. Then our mind begins to work in the right direction, and our mind will be able to appreciate what is there in the world. It appreciates not only the strong points but also the weak points of others. And it teaches us that the strong points of others are there for us to imitate, and the weak points of others are there for us to encourage and rectify. If anyone is suffering from self-confidence, from lack of self-confidence, we should understand that we are not incapable of doing things. What we call timidity and lack of self-confidence is only a block in self-expression, and it is all due to our wrong approach, in wrong direction in our approach towards the fellow being. And it is for us to know that all disease exists due to wrong approach. Some of our disease exists because of our wrong approach to food and drink. A part of it exists because of our wrong understanding of others. If I see an enemy in a person, the enemy works in me, not in himself, because the enemy consciousness is in my mind, not in his body. If I fear anyone, fear is in me, not in the person who is feared. If I feel jealous of any person, jealousy is in me, not in the tissues of the other person. This is the origin of disease, and the less is the intensity of our impression of others, the less will be the possibility of disease in us. Every one of us have our friends and our enemies, our relatives and our acquaintance, our people and other people. And about everyone we have our own impressions. And the bundle of impressions about each person is on our head, and it is multiplied as many times as there are number of persons whom we know. Because each person we know, we form our own impressions about him, and we carry the impressions on our head as our burden. We do not imagine how much burden and weight we are carrying in our head. There is no reward for this head load, but still we take pleasure in carrying. Real healing exists in removing this head load. If we meet persons only as persons, and if we do not carry impressions about persons, we begin to do what is expected of us, and we stop to do what we wish to do. What we wish to do forms a burden to our brain and to our heart. If I remember that I have to do a lot of work in the office, the lot of work exists in my brain and not outside. But if I begin to do it without much thoughts about the work, then work is only a play, because we are not foolish enough to carry it in our head. This is the first step of healing, and whoever makes a skillful attempt in the direction will find himself or herself already a healer, and will find that he or she will be gradually healed of the physical and mental ailments, protecting the energy carefully and saving much energy from burning in unscientific ways. Every time we are nervous about a person, we are burning much of the valuable human energy. Every time we are irritated of our boy, we are spoiling much of the human magnetism, which is more valuable than anything. Human magnetism, which can heal, can never be purchased at any cost. There is no doctor here to sell us for any cost the real human magnetism. It is a valuable product imported from a foreign land and which cannot be manufactured in our country. It is imported from the solar rays, from the spectrum of the sun's rays, from the heat, light, electricity and magnetism that is being offered by the sun. Our earth is receiving it every moment and making a benevolent offer upon us. And through our feet we are receiving it from the earth every moment, and through our eyes in the form of light we are receiving it. Through our respiration we are receiving it as oxygen, and we should train ourselves to receive it also in the form of harmonious thought. This is the real way of practicing healing. Without this background being felt as truth, no scientific method of practicing healing will be of real value. First of all, remember that thoughts are not true. We are mistaken to believe that thoughts carry truth. Thoughts do not carry truth, but thoughts carry patterns or designs. What we call truth is only a mirage and an illusion. The real truth is ourselves and nothing else. Because the whole creation put together is formed by ourselves and not our ideas. We are the real creation of nature, whereas our ideas are our own creation. We can either create them or destroy them, and when we care more for these ideas and thoughts, we begin to care more for the relationships with other persons which we have made. Whenever we have made a wrong relationship with any person, whenever we believe that our relationship with him is true, we feel disappointed of his behavior and we feel sorry of his misbehavior and we feel jealous of his strange behavior. Do you understand that all these misspent waves of force are stirred only by ourselves, created by ourselves? See how the earth gives us iron and how we can use the iron to make a knife and use it as an implement for eating or use it to kill others or to injure ourselves. So, the iron is the real truth of it, whereas the use of the kutu we do is what we have created. Ideas are like kutu and truth is like iron. If we believe more in our ideas, we learn how to get stuck up. And this stuck up is disease in real sense. Disease on the mental plane creates disease on the physical plane. When there is no disease on the mental plane at all, there can never be a disease on the physical plane. Unless we misbehave with our food or drink, or our work and our sleep, or our sex, we do not go into deceit. See how the animal kingdom is having less and less of disease, and the plant kingdom is having far much less of disease. Unless the human being exists amidst plants and animals, there cannot be diseases to plants and animals. I think you would excuse me if I make a statement. Wherever the animals and plants live, they make the atmosphere rich by their presence. The trees shed their leaves and branches on the soil to make the soil fertilized, because they have drawn some energy from the soil, because they have borrowed some food and water from the soil. They repay it with thanks in the form of their leaves and their parts. You see how the animals with their excrete make the soil fertile. But what is the result of the human beings living on this earth? The more number of human beings that live in a place, the more will be the debility of the soil at the place. Because we suck the food value of the soil and we return nothing to the soil. We have to remember this difference, fundamental difference, and make good of our living on this earth. And also one more thing, the human being is the only species that can kill its own generations. A total suicide in the name of war is possible only in the human species, and it is not possible in the animal and plant kingdom in such a large scale. So there is something instinctively negative in the human living itself. We should not be ashamed of accepting this, because we can't argue against this truth. But we should know how to alter the magnetism of our existence by making a positive living, by making our thoughts healthy and positive, by thinking of people whom we like, by not thinking of people whom we do not like. We begin to think good of those people whom we do not like. Then our magnetism begins to change. Then the negative pole in the human kingdom becomes the positive pole. The receiving pole becomes the transmitting pole. From that time onwards, we work as centers of healing. And our presence, our speech and our laughter, our smile and our sense of humor, and our way of tackling others includes healing. And this healing need not be known by others, because it is not for others' reward that we have to heal, but because it is our duty to heal. Because we are born as human beings, and because there is something negative in us by birth, it is our duty to convert it into positive magnetism and make a proper remuneration of our existence on this earth. So, now you will understand the kingdom of healing. It is not like the duty of a doctor who gives medicines to the sick, but it is like a father, a wise father who brings up his children and makes them as well-behaved citizens. At the same time, not punishing the children in any way. At the same time, not leaving the children irresponsibly. At the same time, having the art of making them masters. Unless he acts as a master, he cannot make them master. It is not to prepare slaves who are cured by us. but it is an attitude to prepare healers. It may be the daily prayer of a professional doctor. Oh my Lord, may the number of patients who come to me increase. It is not the prayer of the healer. The prayer of the healer should be like this. My Lord, as many people as possible who come to me be healers from tomorrow. This should be the attitude of a healer. I know in the Occident, many people are making themselves ready to become healers. And even from their very childhood and student life, people are gleaming with the desire to heal. That is a very good step in the advancement of mankind. We do not find this in the previous decades. I know mankind since 56 years, and from about a decade or more,
Et depuis environ
I find the desire to heal becoming more and more common. Some people laughed at it, I know. But they laughed at it because they are still sick in their mind. But it is a healthy feature that the number of healers is being increased. And it is your attitude which makes you heal. First of all, test yourself if you are already a healer or not. The best test is yourself. See if you are better day by day physically and mentally. See if your body resists to more and more work on the manual plane, and the mind is peaceful and tranquil in the presence of 100 or 1,000 people. Do you feel the plurality of human beings around you? Then it is said you are not a healer. If you feel the one human being in all the bodies, and if you can really see that how bodies are floating in one life, instead of seeing that every body has its own life, groaning and moaning and paining in the body, instead of thinking that the body is a cage and the indweller is a prisoner, if you can at all train your mind to see how bodies are living in life, how the wave of mankind is floating in all the bodies, and all the bodies floating in like the hundreds of bottles that are sunk in a river, every bottle full of water, at the same time bottles floating in water. So the surface of the bottle is the one which makes the difference between objectivity and subjectivity. So when you are dealing with persons, if you can feel the presence of only one person in both, and if you can observe how the one person is behaving like two in two bodies, then you are a real healer. Before achieving this, you should enter into the realm of forces and make a skillful steering, a skillful driving of the ship of your existence in the ocean of life. The